Yeah, I know what you mean, Indira. It's amazing how when it's so obvious, you know, recognized as always being this, then you can see all of it. You can see through all of it. And I remember reading the books again, all over again, and then I could understand all of it. And
It's
before it may have been a little encrypted or, something heard it though. It was clicking.
yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
very well said. Uh, it's like like seeing it for the hearing and seeing it for the first time with different eyes.
Hmm.
There's no confusion, whereas before there was confusion. And
Hmm. Yeah.
hmm.
Hey, Raj.
Hmm.
Hi,
Yeah.
Raj.
Raj.
It's good.
There we go. Who hasn't
Yeah.
who hasn't done that?
Every day.
Yeah, yep, right? So relatable, right? We could relate to I suddenly everything is relatable.
Hmm.
Being it already, being everything. Too intimate.
Okay, Raj, welcome, buddy.
Hi.
Go ahead and unmute.
Hi.
Oh, there you go.
Hey,
Yay.
good to see you. Already done.
Wow.
Already done. Tell us about already, Michael. You have the secret sauce.
Yeah, already, huh? What is already? Well, let's feel into it. What is already present without me having to do anything?
That's it.
Mm.
It hits the target. It's done. The absolute sees itself. Boom. All done. And then the innocent thought can come in. Well, that can't be it. Can't be easy. Oh, what a cute little thought. And what is it without a thought? Boom, hits the target.
Mm.
What's aware of the thought is the source of the thought that precedes the thought. That's already eternally free. That
Mm.
was never bound. Playfully playing hide and seek with that thought, this can't be it. It's this pure beingness, conscious presence, this awareness that's non computational, precedes thought, can't be gotten with a thought, is the source of the mind. So it's like reverting awareness back to the source that you are. And then outward awareness, because awareness is always aware of something, imagining, dreaming, God dreaming this, one mind, perceiving itself as everything, and sees itself through all of the objects of awareness in the imagination. But outward focus is like projecting the movie, perceiving the movie, feeling what it's like to be everything, experiencing everything. And then inward focus, being aware, the absolute sees itself as the source of the movie.
We're just beautiful.
So direct.
Mm-hmm. It's experiential, yeah.
Yeah, even direct and experiential, funny enough, are too much.
Yeah, it's like what does your right foot feel like? Yeah. You don't really notice until you do. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
The tingliness.
Yeah.
I want to say that there's something about already that's very relaxing.
Mm-hmm. There's nothing to do, nothing to, no doer.
Mhm.
It's already done.
Mm-hmm.
Already the case. I
Yeah.
usually hear, I usually hear this word, already the case, and I don't understand already the case what.
Already the case and case closed.
And already, and this is it. It smells the same,
Mm-hmm.
is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Infinite being. Being everything can be anything. So, like resonance. Resonance renders evidence in the imagination. Resonance is being. So you can resonate as anything by being it and then render evidence of it. So whatever meaning you give it, infinite meaning. And the meaning's defined by sensation of qualities with reference point to its opposite quality. So you only know what you're not. You can only be what you are.
Yeah.
But it's so unique how it defines itself. All of these qualities are defined by the opposite experience of the quality. So you wanted this. You wanted to get lost in your dream, to wake up. You wanted to know what it was like to be finite, mortal, human when you're not human, when you're formless, when you're invincible, you're infinite, and you're singular. So how else could you have experienced yourself as one without first experiencing yourself as separate? And how can you experience heaven without first experiencing hell? I was talking to my ex about he said he's been writing lately, and I was like, okay, well, I'm assuming you're writing about dystopia. And he was like, yeah, of course. Utopia is boring. It's the conflict. Like I was talking to Addie on the phone. She said in her literature class, the teacher says in every story there's conflict. You wanted this dramatic movie, this dramatic story. You wanted this process. of the gradual unfoldment and the suspense and the sitting on the edge of your seat and all of it. Falling for your scam, your own scam, falling, being the one dreaming and then get lost in the dream.
Yeah, I was sharing on the phone earlier with Leela that there was noticed a resistance to what we call the meing in being, that washing machine, where 1 minute you seem super clear and the next you feel like you're believing your thoughts suddenly.
Mm-hmm.
And what was noticed was there was a resistance, like that shouldn't be happening. There should just be being all the time, 24/7. And then suddenly it like the light bulb went on. I'm like, oh, it's by design. Everything wants to live. All energy wants to keep going.
Mm-hmm.
It's by design, and there's a relaxation when you see this meaning and being is on purpose. It doesn't want to give it up. It's like so beautiful.
Mm. Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when seeing the me is it too, everything's it. It's game over. The longing's it, the resistance is it. Then what is there to resist? Mm-hmm.
Everything is grace.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. And embraced. That's
Yeah,
relaxation right there.
beautiful.
When everything is grace, grace stops making sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, if everything is grace.
Mm-hmm.
So, Raj, already here was the emptiness, the emptiness in which all appears was seen to be already, was felt to be already. This emptiness, like it's already the case for whatever is appearing. Like the screen at the movie. Without the screen, there's no movie because the projected image would just go off forever into space. You wouldn't see it. So this awareness, background, whatever you want to call it, emptiness, it doesn't have a word. So all words are equally futile, but you can feel it. It's ever present.
Mm.
Yeah, because you are it. Yeah. So
So,
it's
I'm sorry, Jenny, go.
no, no, I'm done.
Sorry. I was just going to say, when you ask the question, what does already mean, or how is this, it's, you can see where awareness goes after that, where it looks for the answer. And it usually goes to the mind for more words, for meaning, symbolic meaning. And that's not where the answer is.
Hmm.
You know, it's it's in the sense perceptions.
Mhm.
It's not going to be in words.
Yeah. It's this felt sense I'm alive, this sentience, this conscious presence, this beingness, like when we closed our eyes and focused on already, that's it. And it's can't be described with words because it's the source of the mind, the source of words. So you can't get it with words or thoughts or it's the source of the mind, and the mind is the playground that you as the source sees itself, plays with itself, experiences itself as every quality, every sensation. But you're infinite. You don't have quality, you don't have a body. You're not inside the body. You're perceiving, imagining bodies, imagining faces on a screen.
Yeah, the mind is like a seesaw on the playground.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the actual playground.
when I ask myself what is already, it goes right straight to like there's blankness right here and just the fingers moving, the sensations of the body, the sound outside, the lights, the color,
Mm-hmm.
no end and no beginning. It's just right here, this
Mm-hmm.
awareness. And if thoughts come up, that's okay too. Like it's welcomed, but already is done, 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 done. It's just
Mm-hmm.
it's no time. It's just right here. It's
Yeah. It's the self, the capital S self, the one being perceiving awareness, this awareness that's eternal despite the coming and going of the thoughts and the body changing and the character changing. And if you're aware of that, you can't be that.
Now, yeah,
You're the source of that.
Jen, can I give an analogy for what you just said?
Yeah.
So look at the computer screen right now. Take a look. Look at your picture. Look at all the other pictures, right? Now, think about the individual pixels that are making up all these pictures. Do they have any meaning in and of themselves? The pixels of it. Like if we turn the computer screen off,
Mm-hmm.
it would have no meaning.
mm,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it wouldn't appear without you being aware of it. You're the source of it.
Yeah.
Your existence itself, which gives rise to the objects in awareness in you as consciousness. And these bodies and these faces aren't conscious. You are consciousness, imagining the bodies and faces. You are the sentience, the aliveness.
Put something down about already.
Yay.
This is unicity already. Here, there, everywhere, nowhere, always, never, then, now, when, this and that. This sounds illogical, and that's understandable, but it's true. How this appears as perception, sensations, sights, sounds, tastes, smells, thoughts, having nothing to do with space and time, more intimate than the word intimate can convey, formless, without one who experiences these sense perceptions, is how it is already. It's primordial, prior to interpretation. This is not a theory or philosophy. It can sound to the mind like this is an amazing concept that somehow I must believe. But it is a simple, energetic, intuitive resonance. What can appear is a deep curiosity about this. How is this already this? Without interest in the thoughts that are attempting to rationalize the alreadiness. How else can this be investigated? An earnest interest in what sense perceptions are can arise, not in word, but actually. So this is it already, and it's so all-pervasive that there is no person who has ever not experienced this alreadiness, like a fish searching for water. So it may not be recognized or conceptually obvious. And that is because we continue to look in the content of mind to find this everythingness. We are addicted to the realm of knowing. And direct simplicity and wholeness is prior to the pseudo conceptual reality that would claim to know this. Knowing isn't knowing, but it comforts us with the feeling of control. We must become so completely curious as to look with all our being. We must lose interest in the voice that believes that it can know. We must forget all that we assume already means and approach the unknown with vulnerability. How can you know what this is without knowing? Find out for yourself. The thought that claims this is not yet it is just a thought.
Yay!
Wow.
Powerful.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites. Wow.
Aya.
Beautiful.
Wow.
I want to hear what you got to say, Raj. What are you thinking?
Where you find it? What is the origin? What you have just read?
Oh, she wrote it, yeah.
I wrote it earlier.
Mhm. So, so now what? How to get to that already? One practice is to what Jenny has said yesterday. Just be aware of my sense perceptions. Just that. Just that.
Mhm.
Be aware of them.
Yeah, because it's like what's aware of that? Boom. The absolute that you already are, that's free, that's the source of what you're being aware of. Pervading, imagining what you're aware of. So it can't be separate from it, one with it. It's your mind.
So we can listen to music also.
Mhm.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's very easy. It's an easy yes.
Mhm.
That's very
I love how music was so obvious for me that I am the music, that there's no one hearing the music, it's just being music. It's so easy with that, it's like and I've always been obsessed with music, like, and I love how I've been geeking out on, I've been writing a lot about intuitively diving into how the brilliant mind perceives and defines everything, through these opposite qualities, and how each, probability distribution works, and the uniqueness of the illusion of conditioning, the preference and aversion is how God has this unique experience and defining everything uniquely. So it's all and it's so it was cute earlier, speaking of music, like I've always been into music ever since. In the story, in the imaginary story of Jenny in high school and middle school, was always at a concert every weekend in the mosh pit, in the like hardcore, like alternative Nirvana, all the stuff. Um, and so the boys are into alternative 90s right now, so I'm excited. So I wanted to show Finn on the way to dropping him off at a friend's house today, the System of a Down song that was more recent or something. And I'm like blasting it, and I'm like hitting the drums and head banging while we're driving, and it's blasting. And he said, "You're cool, Mom," or whatever. And it was like, and then I turned down the music, and I was like, that quality, we wouldn't experience that quality without experiencing the soccer mom that drove the kid to the house without blasting heavy metal music. It's like it all defines itself through these appearing as all these opposite qualities, and it appears unique. It appears to have a unique experience. It's beautiful. And it's just one mind, one God perceiving all of these unique qualities. So it's like, because of the HOA Karen, I know that I want to live in the woods. I know that I want to live out in the middle of nowhere. Yeah.
HOA Karen.
Oh. Yeah, it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
And it's so cool to observe how the qualities appear to mingle in the one mind, imagining itself as infinite qualities. Like, even earlier on my jog today, some guy that I didn't know said, like, I'm listening to music and jogging, and he's like, "What a beautiful day! What a beautiful spring day!" And I was like, "Hell yeah!" And it was like, where did the hell yeah come from? And then I was like, oh, okay, that was just the badass quality from that dude. Like, it lined up on the frequency of hell yeah. Whereas if it was the HOA Karen who had said that, I might have been like, it sure is. Gee golly, or whatever, who knows? But I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's interacting with itself with these unique qualities. It's so cool to watch.
Yeah, that was so beautiful.
Yay.
Effortless.
Mm-hmm.
We wouldn't know what finding ourselves is like without lostness.
Yeah. Yeah. What it's like to wake up from the dream with it. How could you do that without getting lost in your dream? And how epic to recognize that you're the absolute, the vast, infinite, that you can't even describe. God, that is the totality of the entire imaginary universe.
So the contrast is heaven.
Yeah. That's it. And so that System of a Down song, the lyric in it was, somewhere between the sacred silence and sleep, disorder, disorder, disorder. It's like, you want that. You didn't want to see yourself. You're singular. You're already immaculate perfection. You wanted to know what this fucked up shit was like, and getting lost in it.
Yeah.
What a gift. What a gift. All of it.
So when anger arises, that's God being angry.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when there's no resistance to it, it's fun. It's fun. Like watching at the movie theater, watching the movie. You're not in the movie. You're not affected by what's appearing.
So the confusion that we often think is ours, I don't get it. What is already? I don't get it. That's God being confused.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The confusion is thinking we know what already looks like. If this is it, then maybe whatever idea we think it's going to look like is incorrect. Maybe we should drop the standards, the expectations.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do anything to deserve this. This already.
Yeah, you already are this. You can't become it. You can't attain it because you already are it. So what's being looked for is that which is aware of the looking. What's being sought is the one aware of the seeking already.
What they say, what you're looking for is what is looking from.
Yeah. Yeah, looking for yourself in the dream. Yeah. I'm just obsessed still with the analogy of the VR headset. You're God wearing the VR headset, God that is outside of the illusion of space and time, looking, perceiving the experience, its sensations inside the headset of the illusion of space and time. And how else can you experience yourself? You're singular, you're all alone. You would have to imagine what you're not. You'd have to project this mentally project this daydream, this dream of forms and qualities, to see yourself, to sense yourself through every sensation, through taste, texture, feelings, touches, like sounds. And then when that's seen, it's like, oh my gosh, it's all heaven.
Mm.
It's all ecstasy.
Mm.
Yeah.
And there's no specialness in this. Everyone's doing it
Mm-hmm.
right now as we speak.
Yeah. Whatever's being felt right now, that's it. It's done. Case closed. That is God experiencing.
Is that a
Yeah.
new bumper sticker? Already the case closed.
Hell yeah. Or the t-shirts. Yeah.
Mm.
Raj is going to design that one.
No, no hierarchy. No
Yeah.
hierarchy.
Yes, no,
Yeah.
no hierarchy.
So,
No,
so all the crime, all the corruption, all the rape, all the torture is it.
Yeah.
And my best thing I come to is not complaining, not complaining. Because if every bad thing is it,
Mm-hmm.
then we cannot complain. It does not make sense to complain. It is all God's will.
yeah.
Raj, the complaining is it too.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every
Yeah.
experience, every sensation.
Yeah. Yeah. But when we don't complain, this is a peace. I mean, when we do not complaining in an effortless manner, not trying to complain, not complaining, that is, you don't complain because you surrender to God's will. You're convinced that this
Non-resistance.
is all
Yeah.
God's will. If you really surrender and you complain effortlessly, then this is a peace.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, just like having a daydream, like
Mhm.
daydreaming characters having a war or chaos or whatever. First of all, it's not really happening. How could it be scary? It's harmless. It's not even happening. You're imagining it. And you're outside of it, imagining it being it, because it can't appear to exist without you. You're the source of it, the source of the mind. So how can you be separate from it? It's your mind, and so if it's all you, then there's no more being scared of the boogeyman. There's no resistance. And it's not even happening. How free is that? It's all playful. It's God's play. So it's all the torture and all the stuff is not really happening. Just like when you're aware of being aware of sensations, you can see very clearly that the awareness is unaffected by the sensations. It's untouched. Like if there's pain or whatever, the awareness is unaffected. It's because it's prior to the source of. So it proceeds. So it's untouched, like sitting in the movie theater watching the movie. You're not in the movie. You're entertained by it. You're exploring yourself through it, like through every appearance, and it elicits sensations. Like all of this is just perceiving sensations. Like God wearing the VR headset. It's like being on the roller coaster is you're not really on the roller coaster, but the stomach's going up and all of these sensations are appearing. You're experiencing. This is a sensory experience. And it's infinite. So it's experiencing everything simultaneously. So everything's the purpose. So, for example, resonating on, being born and being a plumber and drinking beer after work every night, watching sports, and that's the meaning of life, and you live and die, and you know and you resonate on that. So then you imagine, you mentally project on the screen of awareness that movie, and that's it. That's God experiencing what that's like. And so then it's everything. So if you resonate on being limitless, your pure consciousness, they can be anything, and you're invincible, and you have access to all information in the Akash because you are that. You're the source of the universe. Then you render evidence of that. So you're only as limited as you resonate, and it's infinite being, everything. So
But
none
we
of
have,
it's none. Yeah, it's all the purpose.
but we have no free will to resonate or what or not. No free will. It it, it comes or not. No control.
Yeah.
I would say there's both, you know?
Yeah, it's like neither because it's not
Mm-hmm.
knowing. It's not knowing is what it is.
Yeah, and
It
I
can
just
be
wanted to
done.
say that if there's a delicious ice cream sandwich in the refrigerator, does it matter if there's free will or not if I go over and open it up?
Not today.
Yeah, like we were talking about last time, where it was like the thought, I'm not going to eat the ice cream, comes in. And then the body goes to the freezer to get the ice cream. And I've noticed that there's qualities here that rebel, that like is always transcending or saying, fuck you, like I'm going to do this anyway over here. So then, like, there's a ravenous eating the whole carton of ice cream because it's like, no, you didn't tell me you not to eat the ice cream.
Yeah. Yeah. Jen, I said that to some of my kids that I teach, chess to. I said, you guys don't realize it, but being an adult, I can walk into the store right now and buy as much candy as I want, and that's not a good thing.
Mhm. Yeah, I've rendered a fat ass.
Me too. I have a get a booty. I gotta get it. That's great.
And I love how there's no judging of it. I mean, judgment may come up in thoughts, but it's looked at as, all right, you
There's
know.
compassion. Yeah. Of course it would want to eat.
Yeah, this is the
Like,
playground. It's fun.
There's more of an agreement with what the body does, even though the mind is resisting or has resisting thoughts
mhm.
that arise.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that can even be guilt for eating something that you said you weren't going to eat, but it's not personal. So it's completely different than believing that
Yeah,
I
and
did
that was
that.
just,
Yeah.
and that's so funny because that's just an imaginary conditioned paradigm. It was a quality that was measured or resonated with that can be transmuted. Like, I may have told you guys about that experiment I did where for a whole month I was blessing the trash, the junk food, to make me skinny, and I wasn't going to exercise or anything. Give me a six pack. And I ate it, and after the month was done, there was a six pack. So it's magic because it's all malleable,
Yeah.
and it's everything's a myth basically. It's all the placebo effect, the sugar pill.
Mm.
But so you can transmute it's all playful, you know?
Yeah, and I want to go back, Jen, to the computer screen because it's a lovely analogy of what you're talking about. The computer screen can be anything. So
Mm-hmm.
right now it's a Zoom. It can be mountains, it could be spirituality, it could be a porn site.
Yeah. The number one website, Pornhub. Yeah.
Let's
And
do it. Nondualityporn.com.
I
Yes.
know. Yeah, this is God's wet dream. This is mental foreplay. It's playing with itself as everything.
Yeah, hot mama comes home.
Yeah.
yeah, I think a wet dream is actually a really good description because it seems so real. And then, you wake up from a dream and you're like, oh my God, that didn't even happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what it's like.
Mm-hmm.
I think this loves to trick itself. It I think it's fascinated by the fact that it can make itself believe that this is happening.
Yeah, that's it. That's what you wanted. That was the point.
Mhm.
Because singular all alone, like in deep sleep, where you're not aware of being, this is where it's at, this playground. of the imagination, where you as God are imagining what you're not to experience yourself.
It's like everything is already enlightened, everything is enlightenment, but there can be sort of a practical recognition of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like, you know, I used to feel like, I don't know, talking about practice is iffy, you know, in the community, and it can always be taken the wrong way. But I feel like more and more I'm just like, notice, you know, just notice.
Mm-hmm.
It's that simple. Notice when you ask, what is this? What happens? Like, what do the thoughts do? What is the energy doing? Is it grasping? Is it trying to push away? Trying
Mm-hmm.
to imagine something better? Um, and you can just notice in that suspended place, and then it'll just occur to you, oh, and that's what it's like. It's like, oh, um, it's going by itself. It's doing itself. There's no me doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And Leela, can I just piggyback on what you said? You and I had talked about when you ask a question, right? Whatever your question is, why is this happening? Why am I seeking? There's like a pregnant space. You've just asked the question and you're waiting for an answer. Instead of rushing to fill that space, can you say a few words about that?
Yeah, I was thinking maybe I like the word fertile better because it's like ready to be inseminated
Mm-hmm.
with just a different resonance that's always available. Um, but it's energetic, so I feel like not filling that space, that open space that anything can arise in, even thoughts. It's not about getting rid of thoughts. When you don't fill that space with, and of course nobody's doing that, so this is just something that can happen. You can notice that there may be an uncomfortable feeling, like a need to fill the space with a knowing, because that's what we've always done. And it kind of comforts us, like, oh, okay, I'll do this strategy tomorrow and it'll fix my problem. But we can see that all of that is just thought. It's fantasy happening right now in this miracle, this alive, energetic miracle.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. And that process, that the practice, which is just self-worship, it's just God worshiping itself. It's all of the practice is resonating on the frequency of what already is. So it's like a ritual to resonate, like turning the dial on a radio station, just like, you know, lifting weights is the ritual to render imaginary evidence, project a big bulge, a big muscle. You know what I'm saying? Like everything's the process. This is what God wanted, was like this movie where it seemed gradual. There was conflict, there was getting lost in the dream, there was suffering, and then there was waking up and realize, oh my God, I'm that which is aware of everything. I am the absolute. I am the source of this dream. I am beyond all of it. I'm permeating and pervading all of it. So then that initial like recognition, which like even right now, closing your eyes and imagining the taste of mint and eliciting that sensation, that quality, that's all this is imaginary qualities being perceived, you know. But what is that which remains? Like focus on the screen because that just disappeared. The taste of mint, you know, that's temporary. That's finite sensations appearing and disappearing in you as the substratum from which everything appears. And so being, you are that. You can only be that.
Mm-hmm.
And that is just all encompassing. That is the totality of the entire universe. That is, you know, the screen from which everything appears. So even abiding in that being, you are that already. You can't even try to abide in that because you already are. But like the more I focused on that, the more it swallowed everything. And then it was like, that's all there is this formless awareness, this perceiving sensations, one God. So it's like, it is the taste of chocolate. It is the driving to the store. It is every sensation. So then there's no distinguishing that I need to be sitting here meditating from everything else. It is, everything's the meditation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I did separate it for a while. I did have it divided for a while. I was like, oh my God, this is a distraction. I need to go sit down and be aware of being aware. And then I was like, oh snap. This is awareness is everything. This is awareness aware of itself.
Yeah. That thought that says, "Oh, I'm dissociated again. I need to go into the body." It just stopped making sense.
Yeah.
Everything is equally this, even dissociation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the mind will say, "Oh, this is boring." Yeah, but okay, it's still, it's quiet, it's
Mm-hmm.
calm, but and it'll say, "But this isn't it yet." Because, things will arise that we don't prefer, like anxiety or something, and because we believe that this is supposed to look a certain way, we reject it and say, I'm not there yet.
Yeah,
But
that's what I was doing. I was like, well, if this isn't ecstasy, then I'm not there yet. It's only when I feel ecstasy. And that was the game of hide and seek. That's God playing hide and seek. Because how else would you have identified as the character, and experienced what it was like to be human?
mm,
So that's what's happening is that like conscious awareness, this beingness that's non-computational prior to concept, that just is this all-encompassing beingness, was misidentified as localized in the body, and that's what made you as the infinite, just like God wearing the VR headset, identifying as the avatar. And then that projected this illusion of subject object. I am the subject and everything else is the object, but really everything's the subject.
yeah, or I guess you could say everything's an object too, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, Jag sent me a message that Sri Ramana said that everything's the object. Yeah,
Yeah. It's
both. You could say
so
both.
surreal, trippy.
There's no separation.
Yeah.
Everything is included.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah, you can have those surreal moments like the world is a fishbowl and the fishbowl is my head. It just feels like everything is my head or something. It's hard to describe, but
Yeah.
it those moments pass, that's just a state. And this is intelligent. It knows what it's doing. It doesn't need the idea that I'm doing this to function. It's always functioned
Mm-hmm.
perfectly with or without that belief.
Yeah, and it's taking care of everything right now. When we're so focused on me and my story, that becomes our whole world. But meanwhile, what intelligence is doing the sun, the clouds, the air, your lungs, your heart? That stuff we don't think about because we're so focused on our problem.
Yeah.
Control. Yeah.
What's so beautiful is when you abide as that. I mean, you're firmly established. You know you are that. There's no being scared of it. It's fearlessness. It's you're immortal. You're invincible. You're not even in the body. You don't even need a body. This is all just for fun. And the fear was just the intuition alarming. This isn't real. No, wake up. This isn't separate. Wake up. And so fearlessness is when no longer, nothing's resisted, nothing's identified with. So then there's no resistance. So that's fearlessness.
Mm.
It's all allowed because it is you. You're all of it.
And then there's like a forgetting because it's all allowed, and then there's disidentification the thoughts throughout the day. It just becomes, like I keep saying, warp speed. And sometimes I'll just sit and say, well, what just happened about 2 hours ago?
Yeah.
There's no attachment to the story of what happened. There may be stories that arise and talked about, but then there's no attachment to it, and then it's like fast, just so
Mhm.
there's a relief, the sense of relief. It's like there's nothing to be done.
Yeah.
It's
It
just,
is sped up. It does seem like that. It's effortless. It's like the Wu Wei where it's just doing itself effortlessly and no one trying to resist or get in the way.
Indira, I liked what you said at our Zoom we did on Monday. I think you mentioned something about like, how did I get here?
did
Mm-hmm.
I say that? I don't even remember. How did I say that?
You know, like right now, how did you get there?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that hits the target. Every question hits the target. It's not just who am I or what am I doing here. It's who cares. It's what's happening. What's going on. It's
Mhm.
everything. It's every question. It's like
Yeah,
it's
Yeah,
any
Jen,
question, yeah, can be a portal. Sorry, go
Uh-huh.
ahead.
sorry,
yeah.
sorry.
I like
Mm.
that.
I was just going to agree. Peter Brown said the same thing. He goes, pick anything. He said, pick anything you want. If you go into anything, just keep going
Mm,
deeper.
yeah.
Go ahead, Leela.
So imagine that you're asking God, just to put it in a story, you're asking God a question. It doesn't matter what question it is, it could be anything. What is this? But you can't ask the question and then immediately come in with a yeah, but. You have to wait for the answer.
Yeah, you have all the answers. It's intuitive. It knows. Yeah.
Now I have your voice in my head, Leela, going, wait.
Hold
Uh,
up.
so stop, like Papa G said, or was it Papa G?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Don't move.
I love how he kept repeating, just keep quiet for a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a second. And you'll see. Yeah, because it's just this without the thought, it's too obvious. So that's why playfully playing hide and seek with being distracted by thoughts, because you as pure awareness are always aware of something, always aware. You're either aware, outward aware, which is projecting on the movie, and then either getting lost in it or being aware or reverting awareness back on yourself as the source, being aware of being aware, or seeing yourself through the everything on the screen.
Yeah, and I love how Papa G says, and it doesn't matter how you see this. There's no right or wrong way. And he gives the analogy of if you come here by train, or you come here by airplane,
Mm-hmm.
or you come here by bus. Right now, does it matter like how you got here?
No,
What
it
do you
doesn't.
think, Raj?
Yeah.
I love what Jenny was saying. Everything is the goal. Whatever happens is a goal.
Yeah. Every experience, this God
Yeah.
wanting to know itself through every experience, every sensation that's imaginary. It's not even really happening. So it's all the goal. And it's so cool how it's just resonance, it's just coherence, it's just energy. So it's resonating on in infinite ways. And every way is the way. Everything's the clue. Everything's God waking itself up from the dream, and it's singular. So it can't help but, plant clues everywhere because it is God.
Mhm.
So it's in every song, every movie, every lyrics, and everything's the sign, and everything's the the opportunity to transcend, to recognize you're free. And
Yeah, this doesn't even need to be recognized to be what
mm,
it is.
yeah.
Yeah, I remember a time when there was so much identification with, well, Indira, you have to, maybe if you feed the poor or, help humanity, then you'll find this.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
It was just such torture because it was just so future based and there was so much belief in that. And when this was seen or is seen, it was like, oh, it can be any time. It could be in the bathroom, it could be in the shower, it's right here, walking across the street. There's nothing that's the I guess if you want to call it liberation or the freedom, it can appear any way it wants to appear, through triggers,
Mm-hmm.
emotions, through parties, anything.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is awake. Everybody is awake.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Just some people are unconscious of it, but yeah.
Yeah. It's already realized, already, like Sailor Bob says, already cognized, self-evident.
It's so everything that it doesn't make sense.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't make sense is so simple.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then language becomes very playful,
Mhm.
referring to each other and making plans for future Zooms and
Mhm.
all of that. It becomes a gift
Mm-hmm.
that this can seem to be when it isn't.
Mm-hmm.
Indira, I heard many times teachers saying everybody is already enlightened, but this doesn't make sense to me. Can you expand more on it?
Yeah. Yeah, it has to do with already, Raj. If all is this already, what's not this?
Like
Mm-hmm.
like right now, Raj, right in this very moment, there's smiling happening.
Mhm.
Can you sense, is there any sensations happening with you right now? Can you share that? What sensations are happening right now within you?
Smiling, smiling and feeling
That's
good.
well,
Feeling
that's
Yeah.
it.
good.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah. That's it.
Mhm.
Can you feel your butt on the seat?
Mm-hmm.
Can you feel the air hit your skin from the room?
Mhm.
You know, it's sort of just a reorienting. Not that anyone does, but it can naturally happen where the knowing is in moves from the foreground to the background, and then the direct experience moves to the foreground.
Yeah, just being.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We just become a little bored with the stories. We've been there, done that, got the t-shirt. And then they're less serious. They're lighter, like little children playing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the futility of seeking hardcore, man. Hair on fire, dude.
Yeah.
We can laugh now, huh?
Yes. Yeah.
But all of us who speak about this have different language, and when you move around to different speakers, it can be kind of confusing because people use different words for different things like awareness. And when I say enlightenment, I usually mean everything already, all of it, everything and nothing. Um, but recognizing it is just recognizing it.
Yeah, and it's all defining itself per opposite qualities. So if one non-duality speaker is speaking about it one way, then there's going to be another non-duality speaker speaking about it in an opposite way to measure it. That's the only way that you perceive anything, is through its opposite. How could you know what waking up from the dream was without not waking up?
Mm.
So even in reference, even the qualities, refer to the opposite quality, define itself. So you can even, that's how it's noticed, the how you're resonating as consciousness is by reference to the opposite quality, the contrast, which is what how you experience.
It's perfectly balanced.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just like, you know, this is all one, this is all one mind. Like my son, if I do something goofy out in public, he'll say, "Mom, people are watching." And I'm like, "No one's watching. You're watching. It's all you. It's all your mind. You're the only one." So you're imagining these opposite qualities to define themselves. And so we imagined this, the misfit toy quality of like questioning from a younger age, like, what the hell are we doing here? There's got to be more to this. Something's up. And then just seeking in the spiritual route. Whereas like my sister, who has like the perfect Barbie life, and in the dream is having a blast with the dream. Who cares? She doesn't question, who am I? And so even through that reference point, there can be seen the quality of not being in the dream. Or how would you know? How would
And,
you know?
and that's it. Recognizing this is not, obviously, it's not required.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, every experience is God experiencing itself as simultaneously as infinite qualities. So that's everything's the goal.
That's why
Doesn't the
seeing
way.
this isn't special. Seeing this isn't special.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because we're all doing it. All of
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because you're all one God wearing the VR headset. So experiencing what it's like to fill in the blank. Experiencing what it's like, fill in the blank.
And these are just words too. So it's like now when I listen to speakers, I'm not I'm not listening. I'm not listening to speakers through the frame of thought. I'm listening to this. I can feel, I can sense
Mm-hmm.
what they're talking about. It doesn't, they could say gobbledygoo or, whatever. Or like what you were saying, Michael, the big S or the big T. It doesn't matter what's being said. It's what I'm feeling energetically, what they're pointing to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's the resonance. It's the energy.
Yeah.
The words are just the vehicle or whatever.
Hmm. Just like what Leela, when she read that beautiful serum that she wrote, I can feel the pointing. There's that energy. There was pointing the whole entire time. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's so everything is pointing, right? Everything is pointing.
Yeah.
As everything is you. So this, even to call it a computer monitor, if you go outside, does the computer monitor exist? No. If
Mm-hmm.
you're out, it is appearing to you. If you're not there, where is it?
Yeah. And the resonance renders evidence. So resonating on already being enlightened is rendering the evidence of appearing as faces on a screen saying all there is enlightenment. So that means you're already being it. If you're rendering evidence of it, you're already being it. If you're watching this video, you already are it. It's case closed. There's nothing left to do. You wouldn't have rendered evidence of it if you're not being it. That resonance.
So it's like not needing an answer and sitting with that not knowing. There's something magical about that, the resonance of that. And it is like a fertile place, like you said, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
So I would just say, spend time there.
Mhm.
I know what it's like to want to recognize this more than anything. And I spent many years trying to figure it out conceptually. And it wasn't until I stopped and gave this a chance to answer itself, that the energy started to shift.
Mm-hmm. Which is in the silence, that
Mhm.
spaciousness, the screen from which, so that's being aware of being aware.
Mhm.
Yeah. And the more that absolute sees itself, the more you can't be fooled. Mm-hmm.
That's why this whole this I call it vastness, whatever you want to call it, is more in the forefront here, and thoughts are just free to be, but
Mm-hmm.
background because attention now is just on
Yeah.
this.
Mhm.
Yes. Yeah, the more I did that, the more I was focused on the felt sense. I am this spaciousness, this aliveness that just is, that precedes thoughts, that's non-conceptual, that is the source. So it's before the thought.
Mhm.
The more I stayed there, the more I saw that that's all there is.
And like this screen, this is continually empty. So it's empty for the appearance,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you could say the monitor, just it's always empty. Those pixels can't ever permanently be anything that's arising on our screen because it has to be freed up for the next image.
Yeah. Yeah, what's always here, what always remains, despite the changing thoughts and appearances and even the changing character that you thought you were. What's aware of the character you thought you were? That can be obvious too, that you couldn't be that.
Yeah.
You're
You're
too vast to be confined into it.
Yeah,
well, if
you're the one
you're
seeing it.
Hmm?
so,
You're the one seeing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, that was what I was gonna say, Leila. Are you aware of the screen? Are you aware of the images? Then you can't be them.
Mm-hmm.
And you're the one aware. It just keeps backing up until
Mm-hmm.
it's just this simplicity, this aliveness.
Yeah. Yeah, where you can't back up anymore because you are it. You can't take it apart from that.
It
Yeah.
just dissolves.
Mm-hmm.
And even role playing, like role playing as a sister or role playing as a daughter or role playing as a flight attendant, which is not really what I am, but
Yeah.
it's just like I think what Leela was saying, it's just like seeing that and being okay with that. It's like, okay, here we go. Let's go play.
I know. And it's
Yeah.
fun. That's what you wanted. You wanted your God that's formless, invisible, doesn't have a body, playing house, playing imagine like one of the biggest clues is when you're little, when you're alone, all alone, playing
Yeah.
with your imaginary friends. That's what's happening. And so that's a clue. It's like, okay, this is imaginary and
Mhm.
it's all you.
Yeah, it's like when you believe in Santa Claus and then all of a sudden some little kid tells you it's not real and you're like, "Oh." But
Mhm.
that's a massive clue.
Yeah.
Well, I had a mother tell me her daughter was really upset. And I said, why? And she said the daughter came home from school and said, Mom, what's this rumor I heard about Santa Claus?
I was pissed too when my sister
Yeah,
told me.
like it was heartbreaking.
I loved that fantasy. I was like, fuck you.
I know.
You destroyed it.
How dare you? Yeah.
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 I think a good question to ask anybody who's seeking is, what do you think is going to happen?
Mm-hmm.
You know, because
And
whatever the answer is, that's a thought here now. It's
Mm-hmm.
just words, bleep, bloop, blop.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is. It's not fantasy. So it's being very sober and,
Mm-hmm.
and seeing that this is literally all there is. I mean, look,
Mm-hmm.
You can't point to anything that isn't this.
Mm-hmm.
I love that, Leela. What is it that you imagine awakening's going to do for you?
Mm-hmm.
What are the expectations? If I brought it
What-
back to myself, what expectations do I have about liberation or quote enlightenment?
Yeah, whatever that is going to crumble
Mhm.
and it'll
Yeah.
reveal this aliveness, you know.
Yeah, because it's non-conceptual. It's not, and it's not the character that gets liberated. It's recognizing you're not the fucking character. You're the one aware of the character looking for liberation
Yeah.
Mhm.
that was looking for itself as the awareness. So it's like the awareness projecting the character on the screen looking for awareness playfully. And that you're, just like being aware, you can tell very clearly it's not moving, it's completely still, it's permanent, eternal, without qualities, immortal, invincible. It's not touched or tainted by the appearances, yet permeating, pervading, illuminating it because it couldn't appear without you being aware.
I remember driving in the car and I was going through a couple months of inquiry and thoughts were arising. And then there was this impulse to just take those goggles, as you said, to look in what is watching that and
Mm-hmm.
really feel into that.
Yeah, that's it.
Wow, this. I think this is what Muji's talking about. And I remember looking at a picture of Muji and I could identify with that smile or that because that's what this is,
Mm-hmm.
it's non-reactive, it's still, it's ordinary. It's nothing like what the mind projected of what it should be or is. And it was just beautiful because it was like, oh, there you are.
Yeah, and that is the self. And so
Mhm.
that was misidentified. When I recognized this, I was like, "Holy shit! I thought that's what Jenny was." But
Yes.
this is everything. This is the entire universe. This is God. This is appearing as every quality, every characteristic. Yeah. So that is the self. The I am, the pure, you know, consciousness. And it's familiar, it's home. It's like, oh my gosh, it's already been this. It's
Yeah.
always been this. I just was misidentifying it as just being this, avatar, but it's the one wearing the headset. That's
It feels
everything.
like an ancient, non-conceptual memory.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Very ancient.
that.
If somebody said, how do I resonate with the emptiness? Um, just to give it a word,
Mm-hmm.
I would say ask whatever it is you want to ask and then wait and don't ever expect to get an answer. And that's it. If you can do
Yeah.
that earnestly for long enough, I mean, of course this is a story, but I'm just trying to put it in practical language.
Yeah.
It'll just be like, oh, because you're not filling that space with the innocent, arrogant, fillers.
Mm-hmm.
You stop creating, the world and you let the world you see that the world's creating itself already, you know.
Yeah.
And when I came home from work, I looked at him and I thought I could see myself. When I say myself,
Mm-hmm.
I can feel that
Yeah.
awareness, that simpleness, that what we already are. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
wow, that I was telling my friend Angelo, I said, oh my God, I could see myself in Muji. And I don't mean me as a person,
Yeah. Yeah.
sense what he's sensing or what he,
Yes.
Yeah, the essence.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Very,
you want that primordial essence that,
And
yeah, all one God wearing the VR headset.
Another word for this is resonant. Right? We were talking about, I think, resonance too, Indira, at our meeting Wednesday about how You know, the guy that wakes up at 4 a.m. to commit a crime resonates with that. There's a
Mhm.
resonance. Something wants to get up at 4 a.m. and
Yeah.
do that.
And there's something disturbingly freaking awesome about that. Like
Yeah.
that's allowed, you know. There's no
Yeah.
rules.
All inclusive.
Innocent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, experiencing infinite qualities, infinite ways of being. Because how else would you experience, you know?
Mm.
Well, when you kind of feel into the resonance, it kind of explains like you don't go into questions and why did they do that and all that like down that trail, rabbit hole.
Mm.
But you understand that at some level there's just a resonance for the next movement.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
It's amazing to watch. It's magical. Like you have no clue what you're going to say or think in 1 second, you know, or two seconds. It's just spontaneously happening. It's
Mm.
wild. Like there was this one, I loved it. I loved it. There's on a Zoom meeting right before it was blank. There was nothing. I was like, I don't even know what's going to be said. I have no clue what's happening. And then I sat there and the character, the qualities, the words
Mm.
were just doing themselves, channeling information for 30 minutes. And I was watching and I was like, wow, it's so crazy
Mhm.
how this is happening. It's just happening. And
Mm.
I'm that which is pervading it, experiencing it.
Yeah. Just like when I write a script and then I read it and I'm like, damn, where'd that
Yeah.
come from?
Yeah.
Mm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, it's very surprising.
Yeah. Everything
All
is
of it.
Mm.
channeled information from the one mind.
I love that there's no responsibility to see that there's not that doesn't even exist. That just like whatever comes out. It's there was so much, gosh, I remember just being so identified with, control, and there's
Yeah.
never control here.
So free. I mean, how free is that? No responsibility,
Mhm.
no regret,
Yeah, it's
no
crazy.
past where anything happened, no shadow work or trauma to resolve.
It's
That's
insane.
amazing.
Only when it arises, it's just seen and felt right there. And yeah.
And the idea that order exists
Mm.
is that contrast when you see that, wow, this is chaos.
Mm-hmm.
The the appearance of order makes the appearance of chaos like so much better. It's just like, wow.
Yeah. It all defines itself.
Mm.
And that's what you want is those opposites to so that you can perceive. So I mean, the world is absolutely total perfection, which is just a dream. It's just a concept in the mind. But even the idea that is total perfection,
Impersonal.
you can't have one without the other. You can't have one quality. So this is God experiencing infinite qualities, experiences,
Mhm.
and none of them are wrong or right. It's all, you could even label all of it right.
Mhm.
And I just want to say that even the thought I'm not there yet, it's just a thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. What is it? What is it without a thought? Focus on the sensation of that thought without a thought. What's aware of that thought?
Mhm.
Too obvious,
Mm.
too self-evident. Yeah, self-inquiry just hits the target every time because it's going to the source. It's reverting awareness back on itself, and the absolute sees itself. So
Mhm.
you trace it back all the way, all the way, all the way until it can't be traced back anymore, and you're like, oh my God, that's what I am.
Yes.
Yeah,
Awesome.
that thought, am I there yet? You know, or um wondering where you are on the map, how close you are.
Mm-hmm.
The thought that I'll wake up soon, you know, those just like fall, they evaporate and then you're
Mm-hmm.
like, oh wow, there's nothing to hang on to, but there's never a conclusion that replaces it. Like, oh, now I've arrived. Congratulations.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Never a conclusion. Never. Yeah.
Yeah, because what you are is prior to concept. You're the infinite. You're
Yeah.
not the character.
And there can even be the noticing, perhaps the thought, I have arrived, shows up. What's aware of that?
Yeah, and what is that without a thought? It's that screen from which the thoughts appear and disappear.
Yeah, that thought came up here too, and it was funny. It was really funny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's constantly perceiving, measuring based on contrast of the qualities of what it's not. You know, can only experience what it's not to
Mm.
define what it is. So it's and that's part of the illusion that we wanted as one God that's singular, that's formless and visible. In order to experience yourself, you'd have to imagine yourself as two, as what you're not. You'd have to imagine to reflect back to yourself what you are as the invisible, infinite. And that thought, I've mentioned this before, but like when it was so obvious that I am this vast spaciousness, this pure consciousness from which everything's appearing and disappearing. I'm not what I thought I was. I'm not the limited finite avatar that appears and disappears and disintegrates. I'm what always remains, despite the sensations appearing and disappearing. But right after, or whatever, that was totally obvious. Game over. Habitually, that cute, adorable thought came up. This can't be it. And so that's when I could see, oh my gosh, that's how I was playing hide and seek, is focusing, identifying with that thought, because that initial identification with the avatar made the thoughts separate from me. It's happening to me. I'm a victim of it. And so then it was the resistance to that, which, just like a nightmare at night, the resistance of the refusal to accept this is what wakes you up from the dream. So it's all the resistance is the catalyst. It's beautiful. It's like, how else would you wake up? But that those thoughts playfully, habitually would come up until they were not resisted, and then they dissolved, and then they never came back. But it was so funny because I noticed a nakedness for a couple of days, a void of not having a problem to solve. And that leftover energy, where, because there was so much effort to keep the illusion alive, or to keep being as pure awareness, giving rise to these sentience, to these thoughts that weren't alive, that weren't conscious. But I am the consciousness from which they appear and disappear. But I was giving them power by illuminating them. Yeah, it's like when that resistance is gone, I just remember there being of a little void for a moment of like, oh my God, I can see how much energy was spent all day trying to worry about stuff to keep this illusion appearing real.
Yeah, there was a neutral time. I don't know how long it lasted, but I was like, is it gonna be like this for the rest of my life? Just like
Oh,
everything is empty and meaningless. But it started
yeah.
it started filling back in, It was like, oh, this is playful. This isn't,
Yeah.
yeah, it's not negative, even though it's negative.
I
That's
can
negative.
remember too. Yeah, I can remember just even last week or just sitting on the plane on the tarmac for like 2 hours. The thoughts are just arising, or just complaining like, I can't believe this, blah, blah, blah. And then there's just a seeing of that, but not making an agreement with it. And so
Hmm.
the not agreeing with it is like, for me, it's the freedom and the effortless of just letting it be. And then just what happens is I'm just looking at everything around me, the jump seat, and it being okay that they're complaining, but not
Yeah.
identifying with it. So yeah, and
Beautiful.
it's done. Before I know it, we're back into the
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, Indira, I just want to say also, I want to add to what you just shared. There's also here a compassion now for the complaining thoughts. I get it. 2 hours on the fucking tarmac.
Hmm.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean? I
yeah,
get
yeah, It's like kids complaining, and it's like,
Oh
look, I
yeah.
care.
No,
And
but
that's
there's like for the first time, like getting it from this thought's perspective. Like, yeah, no shit. This is a
Yeah.
bunch of bullshit.
And frustration arose,
Yeah.
and anger
Mhm.
rose, like still being human. I'm not an AI. So
yeah.
it's like just embracing that and being okay with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what it's like to experience that unique quality, what you want. It's so amazing. So
And
even getting annoyed is what you want.
And I remember just there was a time when the annoyance would come, and then there would be so much agreement with the thought, and it just felt so solid, and it felt like, but now it's like, okay, there's frustration, there's anger, and there's thoughts just complaining, and I'm just looking at it without the agreement.
Right.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Without it's not separate from you. It's appearing in you as pure consciousness.
You
Yeah, I
can.
remember the first time I got annoyed, um, and I was getting off on it. I was like, oh my God, it's so cool. What a cool sensation. And then even the other day, I was cracking up laughing because everything is just a wildfire. It's fucking spontaneous as hell. There's no pause button or control or whatever, and there's no remote control. So like I'm merging onto the highway, and I'm usually the character's pretty damn chill, like even before there was recognition that none of this is real. Um, Pretty chill already, but spontaneously like can have fiery outbursts or whatever. So I'm merging onto the highway, and someone is not letting me in, and they're coming, and I'm like about to run out of road, and then I'm like laying the horn, rolling down the window. What the fuck? What the fuck? And then like cracking up laughing afterwards because it's
Mhm.
like,
Yeah.
Me
yeah,
too.
And it's like,
yeah,
where do the thoughts go? That's another thing too. If there's a noticing that, okay, wow, it's gone. It just, like you said,
yeah,
dissipates. It's like, wow,
yeah.
these.
You can't grasp it. It's ephemeral. It's ephemeral. It's imaginary. It's like a mirage. It's illusion.
Yeah, it doesn't look any certain way. That's why it doesn't help us to imagine what this will be like because anything can arise.
Mhm.
That was the pretend game of hide and seek because then that postpones it. So then because you're
Mm.
not, just like Jack says, mischievously doesn't want to see itself yet. So, like, postponing it, it needs to feel a certain way. I need to be a vegan. I need to worship at the altar for 5 hours. That's just God worshiping itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Need to meditate for 6 hours.
Yeah, I did that. It's pretty cool though, because I can on and off switch thoughts. Like I can go hours without thoughts if I want, or turn them back on. So that's cool.
Mhm.
Oh.
Yeah.
Jen, I had the same experience yesterday with thoughts because I was waiting at the gas station, at the Shell gas station. There's a bay where you can pull in and you can either do water or air. Water
Mm.
or air, it's like $2 or something. And there was some woman, I don't know what the heck she was doing, but it was some old lady with like her napkin. And she's just like going really slow around her car, my like the door handle, completely ignoring me. Like I'm literally, she can see me as plain as day, but she's gonna just spotlessly use that bait, which is so I'm sitting here like letting her for a while.
Yeah.
I'll just let her. So she opens her car door. I say, "Oh, good, she's leaving." No, she's not leaving. She's now doing the interior door handle where she rests
Oh
her
wow.
arm with the napkin, completely not like you can tell when someone doesn't want to look. Like she can.
Yeah.
So after a few minutes of like, I realize I'm gonna have to honk. There's no way about it. I can't. So I hit the horn. I'm looking at her just like you did when that guy wasn't gonna let you in.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, what the heck, dude? And I'm like, dude, you can do
Yeah.
that anywhere. Like you don't need the bay to like paint that like that. And she didn't like it. She was like, like
Yeah.
wanted me to get lost. But she did.
Oh
She
my God.
like begrudgingly got in her car and harumphed and backed
Oh
out.
my gosh.
Okay.
I love that. Because that's also God experiencing itself as the quality of what's the word? Attentiveness, being attentive or empathic or intuitive or um being aware of when it's time to be done or like considerate. That's another word for it. Considerate. So that's how to measure that is through seeing the opposite. So seeing yeah,
Mhm.
that's so cool how to measure that. Because that happened for me the other day at the park. there's this woman that walks around the park frequently because I'm always there. It's next door. I'm always pacing around the park or whatever, the lake, and she speaks really loud on her cell phone
Hmm.
on speakerphone, and she's screaming, yeah, and she's screaming, and I'm like, wow, because then I can measure the qualities. I'm like, well, yeah, this quality doesn't usually do that, like isn't really loud um and so and so anyway, I was making a video at the park, and then here she comes screaming, and so then I'm like, that annoyance, it's like, okay, gotta fucking pause this and let her walk by. But then it's like, that's me, that's me appearing in the imagination as this quality so that I can experience this quality, so that
That's exactly what you mean. You wouldn't be able to be Jenny without that lady,
I know. That's what I'm
right?
saying. I'm like, I love Karen at the HOA. I just love her because then I can see what a freak I am. It's like, or this character is. It's like God experiencing these qualities, these unique qualities. What is it like to be a Karen? What is it like to be? And how can you define anything without its opposite? That's how it's perceived.
I was wondering if we answered your question, Raj, about already. What is already?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, already answered. Yeah.
That's a hard question. It's hard to answer, and it's
What
And
what I understand by already for me is what Jenny has said.
mhm. Sense perception.
What you're looking for is what you're looking for. You are that already. What you're
yeah,
looking for is what is looking.
Yes.
yeah.
But what is looking? You're already that.
Isn't that beautiful?
That's it. That's it.
I I
Yeah,
wish
even that word
It's
I
beautiful,
already.
wish
Rod. It's beautiful.
I wish to share a story,
Yeah.
non-duality story. I've already shared with Jenny, so I share with all of us. So it goes like this: there was a plane crash or whatever, and the only survivor was a small boy on an island. So he was alone in the island, but he has enough to drink. There was a lake and enough to eat because there were trees, fruits on the trees. So no problem for surviving. But with time, he was getting bored because nothing to do. So he was a small boy. He said, what to do? He said, let me play some game. And the only game he can play was, he remembered, let me play hide and seek. So he tried to remember how to play hide and seek. So we go to some, we draw a circle on the playground, and you at the center you stand on the circle. You close your eyes and you count 1 to 10 slowly, and then you open your eyes and you start seeking.
Yeah.
Oh,
That is so
and
profound right there.
Yeah.
and
It.
and and after the day he doesn't get anyone. He say, this is normal because here the hiding places are too, there are too many hiding places. There are caves and forests. So it is normal that it is difficult to get them.
hmm. And then when he gives up, there he is,
Yeah.
Yeah.
the one he was looking for.
That's it.
Beautiful.
When you stop looking, you find it. It's like trying to to lose your keys. They're trying to.
That was beautiful. Thank you for
Mhm.
that
Yeah,
story.
thank you, Raj. I love it.
Terrible.
Mm.
It's amazing.
Thank you guys. What a beautiful meeting.
Thank you. Big hugs. Yay.
Mwah.
Mwah.
Yeah, thank you, Raj, for manifesting this.
Yay.
I know
Thank
for
you.
rendering for rendering appearing as all of us as appearing as imaginary friends. So
Yeah,
thank you.
thanks, guys. Have
Great
a
meeting.
great day.
Bye.
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 Bye.